should be, both liquids forming this solution should be polar or non-polar. Right? Now immiscible is oil and water. We know that when we add oil to water, it forms two separate layers, which can be easily seen. Right? Why? It forms two separate layers because both oil and water are of different nature. We know that water is polar and oil is non-polar. It consists of organic compounds, right? So oil is non-polar and water is polar. So they do not mix completely due to their different nature. So it's an example of immiscible liquid solutions. Oil in water or benzene in water. Benzene and water will also form separate layers, right? Since both are of different nature. We know that benzene is non-polar solvent and water is a polar solvent, right? So due to their different nature, they do not form a miscible solution, they form a immiscible solution. Now partially miscible is something in between miscible and immiscible. That is, they are not completely different. They are the liquids that form partially miscible solution are not of completely different nature and are not of completely similar nature. So they are in the middle. That is like ether and water. Ether and water will mix with each other to some extent, like ethanol and water, and after that ether and water will stop mixing after a certain extent. After some time it will stop mixing and will form two separate layers like immiscible liquids, right? So this is immiscible. It's partially miscible is between miscible and immiscible. At some point, to some extent, it will behave like miscible, like ether and water will form a miscible solution, and after a point of time it will stop mixing and will behave like an oil and water. It will form separate layers like immiscible liquids. Now why it behaves like this? Because both the liquids, ether and water, are not completely different and are not completely similar. Now we have something called as solid solutions. Like we have liquid solutions, we have solid solutions, where the physical state of the solution would be solid, solvent would be solid, and solute would also be solid, right? We have two kinds of solid solutions. If you look at this, two kinds of solid solutions. First is substitutional solutions and the second is interstitial solutions, right? Let's take an example and understand it. Gold and copper can form a substitutional solution. How it can form? Suppose this is a crystal lattice of copper. Right? It's a crystal lattice of copper. Now, in the crystal lattice of copper, it consists of copper atoms, right? And these copper atoms can be replaced by these copper atoms in the crystal lattice of copper. Copper can be replaced by gold, right? So gold can replace copper atoms in the crystal lattice of copper to form a substitutional solid solution. That is, here we are substituting copper with gold, right? And there is a condition to form a substitutional solid solution, that the other atom, the other metal atom that is trying to replace this atom from its host lattice should be of same size, right? Since we know that gold and copper are of same size, so gold can replace copper atoms from the crystal lattice of copper, right? So there is a condition that both atoms, ions or molecules should be of same size, right? Should be of same size so that it can replace atoms in the host lattice. So it forms a solid solution. And the example of this is this alloys of copper and gold, right? And the second one is here, in this case what we did, we replaced the complete atom with a different atom. We substituted one with other, so we call it a substitutional solution. Now there is another kind of solution known as interstitial solution. Interstitial solution is, suppose we have example is steel. Steel is an interstitial solution, and we have already studied that steel is a mixture of steel. Steel is an alloy of iron and carbon. Now let's see how iron and carbon are arranged in steel. If this is iron lattice, since this, let's consider this as an example of iron. These are iron atoms in the lattice of iron, right? Now when we form steel, we know that steel is formed from iron plus carbon, right? So this carbon, when carbon is added to iron to form steel, this carbon will occupy positions which is between these are voids. The space that is between these atoms, right? The space that is between these atoms is taken by copper atoms. When you add copper to iron, the space between the iron atoms in the crystal lattice of iron would be taken by copper. So when you add copper to it, copper would be added here in the space between iron atoms, right? These spaces are known as voids, right? So we say when an interstitial solution of one solid in another is formed, the other solid, that is when carbon is added to carbon is added to iron, copper would occupy these voids. This carbon would occupy the voids, the spaces between these atoms of iron in the crystal lattice of iron, right? So interstitial is interstitial space or the voids between atoms of the host lattice, right, which is occupied by the other solid, is an interstitial solution. So how an interstitial solution is formed? When the spaces, the interstitial spaces or the voids are occupied by the other atom, like other smaller atoms. The size of the atom should be smaller so that it can occupy these small spaces between the atoms of iron in the crystal lattice, right? So atoms should be of small size so that it can occupy the voids. The void is a small space, so that it can occupy that void. So the size of it should be smaller, right? So I hope all this is clear to you, right? Thanks.